Okay, seems like the whole live stream just restarted. Yeah. Yeah, I just got the same thing. Okay. Apparently someone just turned off the internet here. Okay. So we're back again. The point I was at was the cutting of the wheel. Basically what you do is, if you have a 10-spoke wheel with 30 edges, you just delete everything except three parts of it, like of the 30 ones. That was probably wrong grammatically, but I don't care. So what we do is we delete it and got that part of the wheel. But first just for comfort reasons, I will turn it a bit so it lines up with the z-axis. Will be easier to work with. Okay. And now we have the empty here. This empty also has to be turned depending on the amount of spokes you have. So what you do here is basically taking 360 and dividing that number 360 through the amount of spokes you have. So basically we just rotate it by 36 degrees since we have 10 spokes. It's pretty easy. On the x-axis, of course. Okay. Oh wait, actually that turning wasn't very intelligent. Since it cuts into that spoke. Okay, should be easy to fix. So then you basically just set array and choose the empty you just created. So the empty axis, which is turned by 36 degrees in this case. And yeah, location, rotation, scale and stuff all should be applied. And here you see it's like building up like some cake, if you want it that way. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. What I will try now is to turn it a bit, make stuff a bit easier for me. But as expected, this messes up some things. But once we have applied rotation and scale, everything turns back normally again. So basically when you make stuff for games like BeamNG, you should always, on most things, not always, but on basic things like meshes which aren't supposed to be moved by special parameters, like in this game, radiator fans. So here on these things you always have to apply the location and rotation and scale, because otherwise they will start to fly around randomly. You don't want this to happen. Okay. So now we have this stuff set up. And what we do now, that's at least my workflow, is to create a new mesh, which is totally out of place right now. That's better. And with this mesh you basically just follow the cuts on the wheel. So what I do now is just first following the shape of that hole to cut it afterwards. And in my opinion that's a pretty easy way, especially for wheels. Okay, so just follow around every edge. Now since it's so low press, I gotta check how it looks in real life. Okay, it's also just sharp. Here we can simply merge the ends. Okay. And since we see that there's some depth, that's such a hard word for me, since I'm from Germany and Germans tend to say z instead of the, and those PH words aren't easy. Okay, it almost fits perfectly. About the Blitz, I'm not really sure, because I have some other projects running right now, like the series Overhaul, which is like a really big project right now, since there's quite a bit some stuff coming which you might not expect. Yeah, it's just the thing with updating mods. For me as a, let's say, one-man team, it's sometimes not really manageable with time, since I also have school. Yeah. I do my best to keep things updated though, like you can see I'm still trying to work on the S series after 1.5 years of the release. Yeah. So I'm not totally sure about the COVID, but I'll see once I got things done. Okay. And yeah, now we just bevel the edges again with the famous mouse scrolling tactic, which again is super useful. And what I usually do is just trying to have at least one stage of bevel in each cut, so it just looks much smoother than it would without those cuts. And there we see the mess that's happening. But that was because there was one part not selected. So since that's a pretty sharp part itself, I'm gonna keep it on a pretty low level of cuts. Okay, I would say that looks fine. And now we simply cut the shape into the wheel. So we keep this one selected, hit Shift and select the wheel mesh, or at least what's supposed to be a wheel later on. And then we just get into edit mode. This one is selected, and now it gets pretty simple. You should definitely focus the camera on straight onto the wheel, so that there's no distortion or anything. Distortion. So which one is the right one? Anyway, now we just use Knife Project, one of the most useful tools in my opinion. And we have the shape cut into the wheel. It's super simple. Okay. Now we just gotta look out for smaller edges like this little thing. And once you have everything selected, you just delete it. And of course you have to clean up quite a bit. So I'm currently thinking how to do this. I think that's the best way. So we don't deform the, let's call it depth ring. Because I don't know any other word which would fit, not with my English skill. Okay. And now we just merge around till we get a decent result. Okay. And don't worry, it will look a bit messy for now, but we will clean it up. It does look messy indeed. I just said messy. Messy, of course. Oh, sorry, multitube, I didn't really see your message. Well, that Chiron is just some stuff that shouldn't be talked about because it's trash. That was like work of 2 hours to bring the whole car in game. It was just to try things out. Yeah. How do I do this? I don't know. Sometimes I just find time, but most of the time I just don't, and sometimes I also don't have motivation to do anything. But if I do, I tend to do tons of random things. So yeah. Okay, what we do here is forming the spokes. As you can see, there's a wheel shaping already. But I will quickly add edge split so it doesn't look as bad. But it does look completely awful. Because I applied edge split for the wrong mesh. Better. Yeah. It's quite nice. It's clean. Okay, and even though I'm not really an Audi fan, I think lately they actually do some quite decent designs. I really like the A7, and I for some reason also really like the base wheel they have. But it still looks a bit off in my opinion, so what we're gonna do now is use proportional editing to pull more than just the selected vertices and faces at once to get a bit more depth. And I think that's fine. Okay. Oh yeah, also never forget to merge. Because if you forget that, then things just do not look good, because they get ugly cuts. Oh well, car designer was always a dream job for me as a kid or when I was younger. But at some point I just realized it's a bit hard to get into this business. So I could just say that I'll be super happy in the video game business as well. I also wouldn't mind to work for BeamNG or something. But I guess I am a bit far away from that. Okay, so things do not look really smooth here. They actually are, so that's a bit confusing. I'll just try to simplify it a bit. Fix the shading. But no, it doesn't want to get fixed, as always. It's a bit weird. Okay, found the issue. Oops. Okay. See, that's the stuff that should not happen. Oops. Much better. Okay. Well, applying, the problem is that I'm still going to school and I have like 2 years to go. And that's without university, so after school I would have to go to university as well, I guess. I'm not even sure if I want to do this, because I'd really like to get into the job straight away. But that's probably not as easy as I think it is. Yeah. You know, I'm not really a fan of variety mod questions. It basically got cancelled because it was way too much work to fix it. Stuff. Pretty simple. That looks so weird. Okay, the cut was set wrong. I guess we'll have to bevel it here. Or we won't. It was just the edge split set a bit too hard. So that's also something that should be avoided. Now you know. Yeah. Mic place, I'm basically just updating the S series, yeah. And what's changing? A lot is changing. You could see the old S series as a concept, and right now it's being finished, so I'm getting rid of all the issues it had. Mainly mesh issues, because it looked totally messy at some places. Yeah, I'm fixing this. Yeah, I'll be adding new parts. So yeah, no, I'm not going to keep pre-facelift parts, and the parts which are in it currently also won't fit anymore. Later on you will see why, because the front totally changed. And so did the rear, so did the trunk shape, the roofline a bit. Yeah. The taillight shape. All the bumpers. Well, you can, on the repository you can still download the old versions, so that's not a big deal, I guess. And in the worst case, if you totally hate the new update later, you can revert to an older BeamNG version or something. Which you just shouldn't do, but I mean, it's an option. By the way, the cuts I just did were to kinda keep the other parts of the mesh away from the bevel, so they don't get affected by the bevel, just the edges, just the faces which are close to the edge and separated by the cut I made will be affected, so that's a good way to prevent bad shading. But before we start beveling, we need to clean up things. So removing triangles is a good start. Of course we want to keep these, because they're quite important for the shape of the wheel. But what you want to do is to keep things around this area as simple as possible. So you try to merge triangles as much as possible. It's quite simple. I guess now we can bevel, but then again, I'm not even sure if I want to bevel here, because we can normal map, and with normal maps you can easily do smooth edges, or at least kinda fake them, but they still look genuine. And yeah. Oh, I see more questions in the chat. Well, inspiration is a thing you don't need to ask for, I guess. In design overall, you can't really say that someone, for example, copied your design, because there's always that freedom that you take inspiration from something. So I guess it's totally fine that you take inspiration from their series. And the interior, I'm not really sure about that. Sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm back. Okay, so we were at normal maps, and yeah. No, it wasn't my dog. It was just some family member interrupting my talking. Okay, so again, why I want bevel? Because I can do normal maps, and normal maps can also make it smooth easily. At least look smooth. But still, those cuts make sense, since that way you can prevent bad shading of, for example, triangles to extend through the whole mesh. A good example is when you don't have edge split, like when it's turned off here. You see that with those cuts it still stays somewhat smooth, like not really super smooth, but it's still looking okay. Without those edges, the shading would just extend through the whole wheel, and of course you don't want that. Okay. So. So we can also mark sharp here.
Your personality, your
yeah. Leveling here. It does kind of look like a Tesla wheel without the holes and stuff. Okay. So what we will do now is to cut the holes for the lugs. It is a 5 lug wheel, so what we take first, at least the way I do it, are just cylinders. We won't use a high resolution or vertex count, edge count, whatever, because it's a very small detail and we want to keep it kinda consistent and high. So I guess 8 is a pretty solid number. Okay. But first I will apply location and stuff, so we need to array it later on. Okay. Now we can just place it here. Of course you can also take a normal circle for this, but I prefer cylinders. I don't even know why I prefer them, I just use them. You can also easily just use the leftovers of the cylinder for the lug itself later on, and I don't know, I just started using them at one point and it didn't stop. And hello again. Wait. Yeah. Okay. So what we want to do is to cut the holes from this into the wheel. And to do this, we need to apply the array first. So always make a backup, which you just place in another scene or something, in case something goes wrong, of course. And then you just hit array. Wait, that was actually kind of dumb. Still need to do a lot of things. Let me check. Actually, we can just... No, things should go well. Since we can divide that number by 5. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we have this applied. And we're just gonna cut the hole into the wheel. Again, knife project. Of course, no objects found because I selected the wrong thing. And just a reminder, you have the second thing selected when it's highlighted in orange. I guess you can make this yourself. There are many parts like that to choose from in the game. And I'm not really a fan of deep wheels anyway. Oh, come on, what's going on? Thanks. And hi. Okay, that's a bit weird. Alright. Now we have to reselect it. And for some reason it's still not working. Maybe we just had to cut out or delete the faces we had there. See, trial and error is a big part of modding. Ah, now it works. Perfect. And again, just cutting, but of course at the same time watching out for small things like that, because they can totally mess up your whole mood. Especially when you just notice them after you've done a lot of things around that, and then suddenly you have those things appearing. I'm not sure about the exhaust yet. The quad pipes might be a thing for another version later on. Like, not the normal TD Sport versions, but I guess for the GT ones. Okay, now we have that hole. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, like I said, we can we have a 10-spoke wheel with 30 edges, and since we have 5 lugs, we can also just of course divide 10 with 2. So here we just take, instead of 3 of those edges, we take 6. And with 6 we also have this thing inside. But actually I'm not even sure if that makes sense. But we can try. I'm actually worried that this will go horribly wrong. It shouldn't. No, it's fine. That's the right edit mode. Okay, here we have the 6. And when we have this part of 6 edges, we can easily just array it again. And we have the lux inside as well. Yeah, but the 800 is not the series here. But I agree that the pipes are a bit weirdly placed. That was totally horrible English. Okay, now we just array again. But now we have to double the number because it has... how do I explain this? Because it has double the length to work with. Such a hot word, like honestly. Okay, so 36 by 2 is 72. That was super hard. Yeah. And now just hit 5. And of course don't forget to do not forget to merge. We get weird areas here. Oops. Okay, it shouldn't be a problem for now. Okay. And again, like I said before, the cuts are super helpful. Doesn't matter if it's a bit dirty at first. Can all be fixed. Okay. So what I usually do first is to connect those edges. Oh, that's a bit hard for whatever reason. Okay, it's fine. And this goes here, along with this here. And I just noticed that I should have unwrapped this before. Now it's a bit too late. Okay, but it's fine. Another cut here, here, and here. we really need to clean up this place here. Okay. Oops, shouldn't have happened. This at center, and then we connect this. That is fine. Okay, now we have another mess here. Shouldn't be too hard to get rid of. Easy. And here we also mark sharp. Seeing this here, there's a lot that can be improved. So what you want to do is always avoid triangles, because they are often the reason for bad shading. Okay. So that's fine, I guess. Okay. Now we see the wheel looks pretty smooth. Then again, netcap makes everything look smooth. And here we can start unwrapping it now. We just select new image. I usually bake with that 2K resolution. It takes a bit longer, but results tend to be smoother. And yeah, that's Blender. And now we just select what we want to unwrap. and just unwrap it. But here I kinda want to check how it looks in real life. It seems like it's pretty spot on. So here we have those. And what we also want to unwrap is this part. And yeah, here we forgot to connect it. Right. We also need to add some bolts, which I usually do with the 6-edged circle, or edged, whatever. Okay, bye, and thanks for watching. Okay, so basically what I'm doing now is creating that bolt. Oh yeah. It's a pretty simple thing, but it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Especially since BeamNG thinks meshes are usually kept pretty low poly. Okay, so how are the bolts hidden? Like this should work. Okay. As you can see, we merged it with the wheel, and now the bolt got arrayed as well. Arrayed, that's a really hard word as well. Yeah. But I guess if I continue making commented streams, my English will also kind of improve, so that's a win-win situation. Yeah, that's totally balanced. I'm impressed. Also, I think I never had so many viewers at once. That's kind of nice. And I need to end or pause the stream in like, let's say 5 minutes. Because I need to do something. But before I stop streaming, I will show you the S-series if you didn't. And yeah, of course, let's save first. Check if it's saved. Yeah, that's the car, but first I need to save the wheel. Common, that's it. Okay. So yeah, just to make stuff a bit nicer at the time of day. And reshade, of course, always helps. So that's the completely overhauled version. It's still pretty work in progress. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for now. As you can see, the taillights still need textures. And yeah, we also go full 2018 with fake exhausts. But of course, performance models will get proper ones. And yeah, then things like the trunk line itself, or roof line, however you call it, have changed. So did some work here. I also did some work here, that's better. Yeah. So overall there are improvements everywhere, and there will still be more improvements. Yeah. So if this one gets released, the old parts will completely disappear from the latest S-series. Well, from that build at least. Yeah, you can still download the old S-series, but then probably for an older BeamNG version, if you want full compatibility. Yeah, and what I have also planned for this one is that I will finally add skin support, which is a thing that has been missing for that 1.5 years. Yeah. And that's it for now. So I guess I will come back to the stream in, let's say, an hour or something. So if anyone is still willing to watch, I'll be there. And if you want, of course, with the voice commentary as well. Yeah. So I really hope you enjoyed this stream. Something different this time. And you could let me know if you want me to continue stream like this, or if you preferred music only. Okay. So bye for now, and see you later, I guess.